one of the weirdest parts of the March for Life thing. By the way, when I was in San Francisco, thank you, those of you that came down, saw me at Cobb's. It was a great time. One of the best short notice gigs I've had in a while. It was really good. And more gigs to come. Subscribe and share, all that stuff. I was walking to the gig, as I am wont to do. I like to stay at a hotel within walking distance of the club as best I can. Not always, you lunatics, but a good portion of the time. I like to be able to walk to work, essentially, and see the city and go out unless the weather's really crappy, in which case I rent a car and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, walking in San Francisco, and I pass a bunch of people in matching t-shirts for a candidate, apparently, but on the back, it was Catholic pro-life. Right? It was like a bunch of Catholic pro-life marchers walking around the streets of San Francisco on their way back down to the pier to have some sourdough bread. And by the way, as places for right-wing youth pastors who are closeted gay, good on you for finding your way to San Francisco. I mean, I appreciate your strategic capability. Imagine running around Houston trying to get that kind of scattered ass. It must be tough. But you get to San Francisco. I think we should march in San Francisco. Why? Do they have a lot of abortion clinics? Not any more than any other major cities, but I just think we should go there. Oh, all right. Well, sure, why not? Woof. Anyways, all right. So, Kirk Cameron, March for Life, Kirk Cameron's... this message on this is Sean Spicer, for those of you that thought it was Melissa McCarthy or whatever. My wife was one doctor's appointment away from not existing, Kirk Cameron. And I guess it's that she was almost aborted, is the idea? Is that what we're supposed to believe? Isn't everyone then? I guess. Oh, that was fun, Adrian. On the local Bay News station. That was fun. So, and Sean Spicer was 19 whiskey bottles away from fetal alcohol syndrome. And now he's just got fecal alcohol syndrome. Like, you do not want to go drinking with Sean Spicer after he's been kicked off of Dancing with the Stars.
River.
It's not a pretty picture, I'm here to tell you.
The 49th annual March for Life took place earlier today. The theme this year was Equality Begins in the Womb. Actor Kirk Cameron was one of the marquee speakers at the event, and he's here with us now.
Yes, babies should be allowed, fetuses should own property. Voting rights for fetuses. Automatic registration.
Cap that message.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and abort all day. Sorry.
Kirk, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, my friend. How are you? Great to talk to you.
Good, man. I was down there earlier today. It was bitter cold. It was great to be out there. Tell me.
Yeah, Sean, that's because God hates them. I mean, he could have made it warm. Just chose not to, I think.
Talk to me a little bit about what was your message to the crowd?
Well, first of all,
you could play it. I noticed you had tape.
Was cold, and I'm from California, where we've always got nice weather. But it was a cold hand.
It's like 49 degrees in California last week.
It was a warm heart kind of environment. There were tens and tens of thousands of people smiling, caring. So just
freezing, shivering, teeth chattering. It wasn't so much smiling as
people that you want to be around all the time. There's nowhere else I would have rather been this morning. So we heard from a lot of different people, and there was a young lady named Katie with Down syndrome that just brought the house down. I mean, they were chanting her name at the end. She was such an electrifying and thrilling speaker to talk about equality beginning in the womb. And I shared what a personal issue this is for me, because my wife is an adopted child. She was one doctor appointment away from not existing, and we adopted our first four.
Well, I don't know how old she is, but I think 3 technically where you were at that time. Finding out, meeting with a doctor about it, and then having the procedure done. But okay.
Children, and each of them.
Here's what I know. What I want to know: how many doctor's appointments away are you guys from being vaccinated? How many doctor's appointments are poor kids away from having when they have diseases, since you don't think they deserve S-chip? For example, Kirk, Sean Spicer hate Hillary Clinton. One of the reasons why, because she audaciously, when she was the first lady under Bill Clinton, decided to make her cause celeb, not gardening, not Christmas trees, but insuring America's children. And they have never let her live it down.
We're very close to not being here. And if my wife...
By the way, I'm going to insist that the beard growing is because he's going to play Santa in an ultra-Christian movie that they're shooting sometime this summer. That I'm just going to call it right now.
Hadn't been born, either would our 2 natural born children be here. And so my entire family of 6 kids and my wife
are, yes, imagine if they'd have been aborted, or if one of our ancestors had been shot, or if I'd been directly descendant from the dinosaurs that the asteroids hit. Oh, he doesn't believe that.
I see not as mistakes.
Imagine if she had met a banana before she met you.
But as miracles, and I'm so glad and thankful for the pro-life community and their work, which resulted in me having this wonderful family.
No. Not by any means. Because you guys aren't, this wasn't a march for adoption. This is just an anti-choice rally. If you guys were working this whole time on making, adoption easier and foster homes safer and all these other, that people who are in, a woman who gets pregnant wouldn't live in fear of, like, dear God, if I carry this baby to term and I have him adopted, what if I'm responsible for horrible abuse and starvation and terrible shit? Like what was the lesbian couple in Oregon? The Hart family? Fuck. You guys know about this? Ugh. Just friggin' hideous. The kids were so beautiful and sweet and cool. Yeah. This couple, these 2 adopted all these kids, paraded them around as the perfect Benetton family, and then ended up loading them all in a car and driving off a fucking cliff while they were all, they poured like Valium and cough syrup into them. That's where it was. This place right here. Fucking horrifying. Here's an idea. Work really hard to make sure shit like that doesn't happen. Reinstitute a positive but reoccurring growth by, advisory panels and not NGOs that will check in on people who have adopted kids because they may have gotten in over their heads and they've got mental issues themselves and shit like that. Yeah. She fucking killed those 2 ladies. Yeah, Jen and Sarah Hart. That's it. Look at that. Fucking drove off that cliff. No brake marks. And they paraded these kids around like, look how we're raising them. Oh, this lovely thing. Yeah. Oh, and during the George Floyd stuff, Devontae, one of the sons, was the guy who hugged the cop, and it became a viral. Remember that viral picture? You guys remember this. Now know one of the reasons is they were fucking starving him and the rest of the kids. Probably hugging this cop, hoping he would get him out of there. Poor thing. Yeesh. What a sweet kid, too. All of them just gone in an instant. Now, what you would do is, in those kind of situations, you would draw attention to how fucking horrifying it is. You would make sure nothing like that could ever happen again. You would set up bulwarks and like reporting lines and shit like that, so that you could deal with it. You'd have counselors and the like who could reach out and go, "Hey, we've gotten reports about this. Don't take it personally. People are just being extra vigilant. How you guys doing? How are they doing? We'll be back. Let me see the house." Yada yada. But they were able, like, there was a fucking lock on the fridge and all this bullshit. You go fix that. Then more people will will feel comfortable putting their kid up for adoption if they cannot take care of that child. By the way, anybody gets snarky about the future is female and they're like dunking on it, please. Humans are humans, male or female. We all have capacity for awful. Fucking stop it. Here we go.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, Kirk, you come from a world, Hollywood, and California.
No, he doesn't. He was on a show.
I said it's going to be a sanctuary state for abortion, but also Hollywood has really embraced a pro-abortion message mostly. So,
no, a pro-choice. Again, I would equate pro-abortion with the pro-gun folks. You can be pro, like, proper registration of guns. You don't think people need to have, like, assault weapons or anti-personnel weapons, which is really what they are. They're for killing multiple people very quickly, which you do not need in a self-defense situation unless you're in a zombie apocalypse, in which case I suppose you could get a concealed carry zombie apocalypse card if some state wants to hand those out. But pro-choice people are not pro-abortion. They just don't want the state taking that choice away from a woman. For religious reasons especially. And turning women into a broodmare for the state and at the effect of any incestuous father figure in, or adult male in their life.
How do you go against the grain? And do you think there's any hope to get a pro-life message back into Hollywood?
And he doesn't go against the grain. He's just against the choice of it because he thinks women at base are immoral. That's the root of his Christian belief. The way his church operates is that we're all fundamentally horrifyingly evil at birth because of something Adam and Eve did, but at women especially.
What?
So I believe that there's always hope, and the key is to know where you're placing your hope. So I don't place my hope that all of Hollywood, or even the most influential in Hollywood, are going to have a come to Jesus moment and be filled with a love for God. God sends his spirit into the heart.
The host of Takeaways with Kirk Cameron. Is that a rapture thing, or is that just a lame title for a chit-chat show?
People all over the place, and often uses nobodies from nowhere with nothing to offer but a surrendered heart to him to make all of the necessary changes. And
sounds like he takes that personally.
Already in Hollywood, there are more and more people who are coming to terms with the fact that equality begins in the womb. In fact, the guys who made the movies Fireproof, Courageous, and War Room, I was in one of those.
Oh yeah, those movies. Remember those movies, guys? Huge. I mean, they're everywhere. I can't go anywhere without seeing one of their billboards. I mean, movies. VHS tapes. But okay, sure.
We teamed up together, and we have a brand new film coming out later this year in theaters called Life Mark. And it's about a true story that values life at every stage and illustrates the beauty of adoption and the impact that one person's life.
Life Mart? Life Mart. Like a store where you buy lives? Like slavery? What?
Have on so many. I mean, we couldn't have scripted something this good and this true life.
Well, that's true. That's true. Because I've seen some of these movies and the writing sucks. So you definitely, Kirk Cameron and anybody he knows could not script a movie that's realistic. God.
It will be in the theaters later this year. We're putting on the
theaters. It'll be in theaters, and by that he means clean flicks.
finishing touches now, and Hollywood is going to be sending out a strong pro-life message and pro-adoption message through this film.
You know, first of all, I want to thank you for that. I think the message of adoption is so important. It's something that my wife and I.
Yeah, why has nobody ever thought of that? Why is there hold on. Let's see. I was hoping for pictures, guys. Come on. Okay, here we go. Popular movies about adoption. Level 16. Instant Family, starring Mark Wahlberg. Vivarium, all right. Brightburn, Three Identical Strangers. Lion, Shazam has a story about adoption in it. Private Life, The Light Between Oceans. True Mothers, Luce. Exodus, which I think is because Moses was found in a basket. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Moses was adopted. I'll go with that. Sure. Fathers and Daughters, Before I Wake, The Christmas House, Ben-Hur, right again, Admission, The Big Wedding, Kit Bull, Rose Plays Julie, Mother's Day, Expecting, What to Expect When You're Expecting, Noah, again, yeah. Annie, yes, Philomena, In Safe Hands, Timothy Green. Orphan, not so much. I mean, this is no, it's not. I Am Somebody's Child, the Regina Louise story. The Brothers Grimsby, Mr. Peabody Sherman, really? He Even Has Your Eyes, Woman at War, Father Figures, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think of that as a good adoption movie. What? Juno is a pro-life movie, as weird as that is. There you go. Life as We Know It, Marley and Me. Suramanthadu, Mother and Child. Meet the Robinsons, Kings, Psycho Daughter. No Reservations, The Orphanage. Not quite. Farming, Chimpanzee, Winn-Dixie. Aw, Because of Winn-Dixie. Manu the Sheriff, and Bella. These are the ones that are in here. More movies. There you go. December Boys. Comedies, The Tunnel of Love, look out. Big Daddy, Little Man, Mighty Aphrodite, right? Because he adopts a kid and goes to find the birth mother, which is, it's the nightmare idea about it, which is I guess Flirting with Disaster. The Flintstones, Dickie Roberts, I'm in that. Annie. The Apple Dumpling Gang? Oh, that's right, because they find a kid in a little thing. Happy ending? Look out. Really? The Kid? Look at all these wonderful movies about adoption. Romantic movies about it. The Waiting City. What to Expect When You're Expecting. Penny Serenade. Marley and Me. Life as We Know It. Antoine Fisher. Bella for Keeps. Oh, there's a... But I'm glad that we've got dramedies about adoption. I'm glad we're just making distinctions there. Familyhood, Lovely and Amazing. Miracle of Marcelino. So, but I'm glad Kirk Cameron finally came along and convinced Hollywood to start making movies about adoption.
Are very into as well, and I don't think it
Don Jr. came out of Trump's chest. What?
the due that it deserves. And so thank you for what you and your wife do to get that message out and what you're doing now with this film. It's really important to do. I'll tell you the thing that I found so heartening out on the mall, and you have to be there to get reminded of it, but it was this sea of...
Well, then that's terrible. You should be better at the message.
Young people. And it's you think sometimes in the movement it's run by older people because they have to, these groups, right? But when you go down on the mall and you see these young people, college-age folks, high school folks, and even younger folks holding these signs, marching, chanting, being part of it, it really gives you hope as far as the movement in the future.
Yeah, it's a lot of Catholic kids. And a bunch of them, not many, but a significant amount, will either participate in, pay for, or be a part of an abortion at some point in their life. Most of them won't. And...
Absolutely, it does. The pro-life movement has youth on its side, and it has science on its side. It's becoming harder and harder for people to try to pretend like we're not talking about human babies with tons of potential, future presidents, future doctors and lawyers and media professionals.
Serial killers. They're humans, right? Going all the way to term, sure. We're talking about the first trimester mostly, dude.
And young people get it, and they want to change the world. And they're learning to put their hope not in government or the laws that we pass. They're putting their hope in the power of God working through the hearts of people. And they know that there's nothing more precious than life.
Kirk,
well, I would argue, yes, there is. How you treat that life once it's here. Because if you'll notice, almost, certainly all mammals, but most life does some sort of sexual or asexual reproduction where they produce offspring. And what happens to that offspring after it comes out is a bigger reflection of the culture or the advanced nature of that society, culture, or animal community. Because if a bear has cubs and then eats them, I don't think they get points for the, hey, at least they went through with the pregnancy part of it. And if you have children to mess with them, or you starve them, or you deny them an education because they ought to bootstrap it. You know, hey kid, if you wanted a better head start in life, you shouldn't have been born to poor people. Our society is more defined by what we do. Excuse me. But, now I'm going to sneeze. I'm okay. That our society is more defined by how we treat people once they're born than if they're born. These guys are all about the if, because as soon as that kid is born, they couldn't give a rat fuck. Their only purpose is to make more. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem I have with this crowd. Because the whole March for Life part of it is not a march for the living. It has no, once the kid is born, Head Start, childcare, fuck that. You're on your own, kid. It's America, bootstrap. Kids, your parents are addicted to Oxy. Not our problem. That's the problem I have. And in terms of the adoption thing, it's like, well, just have it and then dump it someplace. Well, most people, because of stories like the Hearts and other things, they fear the adoption possibilities because they're worried about who might do it. So fix that. Work on fixing that. If any of these assholes, we just want to promote adoption. Promoting it isn't the problem. Getting rid of the yes, right, Luis. Getting rid of all the no's that people have is a bigger problem because you can't make somebody say yes. You can definitely eliminate their no's. Their NO's, not their proboscis.
Appreciate you being here. I know that it probably has taken you and your California blood a little while to warm down now after being out there. I'm from New England, and I was freezing cold today. So anyway, thank you for being here and spreading the message. Good luck with the movie. I hope you come back and talk to us about the movie.
My word of advice is grow a beard. My word of advice is grow a beard. Face sweaters to keep you warm.
I hope Sean takes you up on it.
Maybe for November.
After the last election, liberty-minded Americans are facing...
Oh, and then they run this. Are facing an inundation of shitty video. So, again, my biggest problem with the anti-choice crowd, of which this asshat is a part, is the very fact that they don't really give a crap once the kid is born. They're pro-adoption, but they don't have any interest in fixing the problems with adoption in our country or the foster system. Nothing. School lunches, public school, guarantee of an education, Head Start, any of that stuff, fuck it. So that's exactly why people if I can't afford to have this child, giving it up for adoption and putting it into a system where they might go to a shit school, they might be surrounded by violent people, or they might be adopted by a psychopath. It's probably better off if I just don't have it. But instead of fixing all those things, which take work, they just try to eliminate an option from a woman's life. Yeah. By the way, I think we all have to jump right into this. Just as a reminder.
Really look at the evidence. The truth is, it takes more faith to be an atheist than it does to believe in God. You've really got to ignore the facts.
It's funny how we equate the word atheism with intellectual, when it's the exact opposite.
That's right.
Kirk, I have an intellectually stimulating theory. It's my theory.
It's my theory, and this is a bit filthy, and if you find yourself chubbing, don't be afraid. Just reach down and do what God tells you.
Where the soda can may have come from. Billions of years ago, there was a big bang in space. Nobody knows what caused the big bang. It just happened. And from this bang issued this huge rock. On top of the rock was found a sweet, brown, bubbly substance. And over millions of years, aluminum crept up the side, formed itself in a can, then a lid, and then a tab. And then millions of years later, red paint, blue paint, white paint fell from the sky and formed itself into the words, 12 fluid ounces, do not litter. You're saying, what are you doing? You're insulting my intellect. And so I am. Because we know if the can is made, there must be a maker. If it's designed...
Yeah, but in your terms, the maker, in this case, is visible. And I'm a person of faith. That's all you need to know. It's how it shapes itself is nobody's business. But what you started with was just a cupping of hands for a liquid. A person, you could see over time, found a way to make a bowl, then a cup, then a mug, then a cover, then a temporary one, then a container out of glass, and then aluminum, and then the refining of the aluminum got smaller, and then additives to make sure that it could stay fresh for a certain amount of time, and then a pressurization system to put it together. That evolved. It was an active point of evolution. Even the maker in this situation didn't just go cans out of nowhere.
There must be a designer. To believe the soda can happened by chance is to move into an intellectual free zone.
Yeah, but you can actually see the person who invented the soda can. In 1808, aluminum was discovered by Sir Humphrey Davy. That's a lovely name, Humphrey Davy. Honestly, the world would be a lot better if we all had names like Humphrey Davy. The man who invented the miner's safety lamp that you wear on your forehead. That's great. Good job, Humphrey Davy. As well as discovering loads of other elements. In 1856, a method for producing aluminum products commercially was developed, and the cost of producing aluminum was so high that it was considered precious like gold and silver. It was so expensive that Napoleon had a ceremonial dinner service made from aluminum. The irony. 1958, the first aluminum drink can was made by the Adolph Coors Company. 61, the easy open ring was introduced. Then a bunch of people choked to death in the 70s because they would take the tab off and put it in the can, get so fucking drunk they would swallow the tab and choke to death. In 1988, the Stay On tab was launched because of that. Europe's first dedicated aluminum can recycling plant opened in Warrington, Cheshire, able to recycle 8 billion cans a year. There you go. So that's metal recycling, aluminum recycling. 10 aluminum facts. There you go. The history of aluminum cans. It was that easy.
It's to have an echo when you think. It's to have brain liposuction. Hold this, Kirk.
Speaking of brain liposuction.
Behold the atheist's nightmare. Now, if you study a well-made banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 ridges. On the close side, 2 ridges.
Weird, because that's not the original banana that appeared on Earth by the Lord God our Savior, maker of all that is yellow and tasty and full of potassium.
If you get your hand ready to grip a banana, you'll find on the far side...
Oh, you don't have to tell me, buddy.
There are 3 grooves, on the close side 2 grooves. The banana and the hand are perfectly made one for the other.
I was once 15. I didn't need anybody to tell me.
You'll find the maker of the banana, Almighty God, has made it with a non-slip surface. It has...
Almighty God. Let's see. What is the original banana? Oh Lord, oh Lord, brings bananas from the fields. It brings the bananas from the field. And the old banana didn't look anything like that. It had seeds and was a little bit round and looked a little different and was kind of brown. And Lord, give me a banana too big to hold in my hand.
What indicators of inward contents? Green
means go. Green means go. No, it doesn't. It means don't. Sorry.
Too early, yellow just right, black too late. Now, if you go to the top...
That's what it means. Black too late. Jesus Christ. Imagine this asshole in public. Like black people walk by and he's like, oh, too late. Black too late. Yellow, slow down. Slow down. What does a yellow light mean?
For the banana, you'll find, as with the soda can makers, they placed a tab at the top. So God has placed
it where it connected. By the way, the best way to open a banana is from the other end, fucko. That's true.
Tab at the top. When you pull the tab, the contents don't...
By the way, trigger warning, the next 2 pieces are incredibly filthy and disgusting. Be prepared. If you have any children, they should leave the room now.
At the top, so God has placed a tab at the top. When you pull the tab, the contents don't squirt in your face. You'll find...
Well, it depends on how you pull the tab. I mean, I'm not a machine. I don't know why. Oh God, yes, I don't know what kind of banana juice this fucker thinks exists. So stupid. Oh yeah, warm me up a little bit, you know.
Wrapper, which is biodegradable, has perforations.
Uh-oh.
Notice how gracefully it sits over the human hand. Notice it has a point at the top for ease of entry. It's just the right shape for the human mouth.
By the way, he's learned over the years to not do that freeze frame too long.
Chewy, easy to digest, and it's even curved toward the face to make the whole process so much easier. Seriously, Kirk.
Yeah, I hate eating straight food. I only eat stuff that like, that's why I only eat rotten celery, because the celery is the stalk is really hard, but if you wait long enough, it drapes. See how God has made the celery lazily drift towards your mouth with the smell telling you which end is biteable?
Whole of creation testifies to the genius of God's creative hand.
Yes, except you, sir. Yeah, it doesn't squirt in your face, and it curves towards your mouth, and God made it that way. Oh, God. By the way, that is not a beard. That's all banana string. That's all the little pieces of banana that come off the body of the banana that the Lord made that you have to pull away, that make it really uncomfortable, and like they don't taste the best, but too late. That if you eat bananas that way, they eventually accumulate on your face. This is all banana squirt. This is what happens if you open the banana from the wrong end.
Absolutely does. You see.
Oh God! All right, here we go.
To offer, but a surrendered heart to him to make all of the necessary changes. And already in Hollywood, there are more.
Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. I jumped back. We didn't need to listen to any more of this shit.